AITAH for wearing a bikini on a family trip and refusing to buy another swimsuit when mother-in-law rudely pointed it out. I 3 for F am married to my husband 33 meters and have a great marriage so far. This week we went to a trip with my husband's family to Hawaii. The trip included his parents, his 2 brothers and their wives, his 2 sisters and their husbands, and us both. My husband is the youngest and all of his siblings have kids ranging from 2 years to 12 years. We all paid for our own flight tickets and hotel rooms. We arrived late last night, briefly caught up with everyone and went straight to bed. The next day we had breakfast and went to the beach afterwards. I was wearing a sundress and a bikini underneath for when we went to the beach afterwards. A little background. I have a pretty average body type and have been wearing bikinis all my life. The ones I got for this trip were pretty standard ones with good coverage. Think about a triangle bra type top and a cheeky bikini briefs bottoms. I'm not talking about a micro top and thongs that barely covers anything. I know what's appropriate to wear for a family vacation. Anyways, when the time came to go into the waters, I took off my sundress and went for a swim. I then helped my niece and nephews make sand castles. Overall, everyone had a great time. While going back to our rooms, my mother-in-law pulled me aside and told me how disrespectful and disgusting it is that I chose to wear a bikini for a family vacation which included toddlers and teenagers and not to mention other males. She also singled me out by saying that out of all the other females of my age on the trip, husbands to sisters and to sisters-in-law, how I was the only one who wore an inappropriate swimsuit while the other females wore a one-piece swimsuit. She said there was a Target right outside our hotel and I should buy some modest swimsuits suitable for the occasion. I politely declined and told her that while I appreciate her thoughts, the swimsuits I have are modest and won't be needing more. When I told this to my husband, he said he respects my choice of clothes and he didn't feel my bikini was inappropriate. But he feels that I should get a few one-piece swimsuits with more coverage just to keep the peace. I feel otherwise. AITAH for saying my brother shouldn't have brought his pregnant GF to my wedding and for refusing to let my her be in my wedding photos. I got married last weekend. I'm still so pissed off at what my brother did. He took all of the attention off of me and my husband. Normally, I don't feel the need to be the center of attention, but this was my freaking wedding day. I feel like it's all anyone was talking about during the wedding and now it's like the main thing any of them even remember from the entire thing. It was a destination wedding within the US, so nothing crazy. We kept the guest list to our family's immediate and extended, as well as closest friends. My parents paid for our immediate family to arrive about 5 days ahead of time. So it was my parents, my sister, and I initially, and my brother arriving a few days later. We knew my brother was bringing a date, no big deal. He said he was just bringing a girl from school. He didn't even call her his girlfriend officially. My parents showed up at the airport to pick my brother up and there he was, hand in hand with an obviously pregnant girl that none of us have ever met. My parents were obviously taken aback. My brother greeted them like everything was normal, according to my mom, and my parents didn't really know what to do or say. Then he just said surprise. My poor mom almost fainted and claims my dad yelled out, "WTF have you done?" He introduces us to this girl, but doesn't clarify if she's his girlfriend and doesn't give us much info at all really. It was very weird. It was obvious that she was uncomfortable. She said she wasn't feeling well and needed to go lay down after the flight. So at dinner it was just our family as she was resting. We were all awkwardly sitting around the table eating dinner, barely saying a word. My mom finally says brother's name. "Is that your baby?" By then we all assumed it was, but my mom needed confirmation. The lack of any real explanation or details from him up until then was just odd. He admitted it's technically not his baby, but he's in love with her and intends on being a father to the baby anyway. The actual father isn't involved and doesn't want to be, And if they get married, then he can adopt the baby so he'll legally be the father. She's living with him, and none of us knew this either. He's been her main support person throughout the entire thing. She's 28 weeks. Well, 29 now since this was over a week ago. I think this was worse than what we had all assumed. So in love with her that he's going to take on the responsibility of her child and marry her. Yet we've never even heard of her. He said he has mentioned her quite a few times. Well, maybe he's mentioned her name in passing, not to me, maybe to my parents, but never said she was his girlfriend or pregnant. None of us understand. He's 21, about to graduate college, planning to enter law school next, and he's an attractive guy. Why would he do this? My parents, especially my mom, were stressing out about it all weekend long throughout my entire wedding weekend. It was like my wedding became an afterthought. All my parents could talk about was how to make my brother change his mind about this girl. Then, when the wedding photographer was taking family pictures, he wanted her in them. That was really the breaking point for me. She isn't family. None of us knew about their relationship, and we met her 2 days prior. She shouldn't be in our official family pictures from my wedding. It's like forget the bride and groom. Look at random heavily woman hitching herself to my brother. No, I told him no. I refused to let her be in the photos. My mom made me allow her to be in one picture, but said we don't have to buy that one or put it in display anywhere. It just made my blood boil anyway. I don't think he should have brought her. There was no reason to bring her to my wedding, especially without warning. I mean, it's all my side of the family could talk about, and he was reticent to even correct them about it not being his baby. He said that's because it was awkward for her to have to explain the full scenario to everyone, so he just let people think what they wanted. Because he wouldn't at least say something, everyone was gossiping and wondering about it the whole time. I'm posting this because I'm upset that several friends and even my own mom are telling me I'm overreacting and just need to accept it. When I told a group of my coworkers about it after the fact they weren't at the wedding, they agreed with me and thought what my brother did was absolutely insane and rude. AITAH for not offering to host my niece's shower. I am the one in my family that hosts get-togethers, holidays, graduation parties, showers, etc. I am an event planner and own a small event hall, so it just makes sense, plus I genuinely enjoy it. My side of the family is huge, lots of siblings and kids. I have always offered up my event hall and planning for their use even though it comes at a cost for my business. My niece, now 25F, we can call her Mary, has taken me up on that 3 times in the past for her post-elopement party and to baby showers. For each of those she gave me no directions, just said do whatever you want. So I did, trying to keep her in mind. At her first baby shower she turned up 30 minutes late in raggedy sweats, stayed long enough to eat and gather up the presents, then left. No thank yous offered. My brother and still her parents made excuses, saying the pregnancy was very rough. So we made allowances for that. At her post-elopement dinner she again showed up late, stayed on her phone the whole time, ate and left. Again, no thank yous. When my mother commented on that, my brother said she was going through some newlywed stress as an excuse. Her second baby shower started the same way. When she asked me to gather up all the presents so she could leave, I suggested she stay and open them so everyone could enjoy seeing what was given. She scoffed and said, I don't want to stay at these little parties any longer than I have to. So I gathered up the presents and decided not to offer my little parties to her in the future. Fast forward to her sister's wedding shower. We have a delightful time, even though Mary has done the usual eat then leave without offering to help or just be there for her sister. My brother and I are loading up the presents when he mentions that Mary is expecting again and when can I host the shower. I told him I wouldn't be offering this time around and why. He was taken aback and said that he was surprised I was letting that comment get under my skin, but whatever, my choice. The next day I get an irate call from Mary. I remind her that she said she didn't care for my parties, so why does she want it anyway? It turns out she got rid of all her baby supplies and needed a shower to get the presents. I told her to post her registry online and I'm sure people would help her out. She got angry and hung up. Then my brother calls. He says I'm being childish. I told him that if he wants the shower, he can pay for it, and gave him the standard quote for that event cost. He just sputtered and said they'd have someone else host. The family is divided on this one. I still feel like I am not being unreasonable. AITAH.